Living Station of the Cross has become a Chicago tradition. The largest of these reenactments of the Stations of the Cross is the Via Crucis in the Pilsen neighborhood. Jim Dish and Brian Brock of our radio and TV office were among the thousands who attended this year's pilgrimage down 18th Street. Here is their report.
The Pilsen Via Crucis begins at Providence of God Parish with a reenactment of the Last Supper. This Via Crucis is a Chicago tradition, launched in the Pilsen neighborhood back in 1977. The cast is made up of 60 to 70 volunteers from neighborhood parishes.
I don't like saying I'm in charge. I like saying we're a committee of coordinators, but it's a tremendous, tremendous responsibility. It's part of their culture. It's been going on for so long that people know we don't have to advertise, we don't have to, say much, and people just show this morning.
The first station of the cross is Jesus is condemned to death. You won't see professional actors on stage, but they get the point across, and spectators certainly feel the pain of Christ. The next station, Jesus Carries His Cross, takes Jesus and the Roman soldiers to the streets of Pilsen. The Stations of the Cross are acted out during the mile-and-a-half trek down 18th Street to Harrison Park.
I participated for the first time last year as a Roman soldier, and ever since that, all my life, I've been in this neighborhood, Pilsen, and I never participated. And I always seen the procession, and finally when I participated, I was like, wow, where was I? How come I didn't participate? It was a beautiful experience. Now I'm going to continue now forever. I've been preparing myself mentally, physically, and spiritually. Try to understand more of the gospel here. And so that's where I grew a little bit more spiritually. Try to understand and see what Jesus' words are meant to say. And this is how I prepare myself spiritually.
Fue tratado como culpable a causa de nuestras rebeldías y aplastado por nuestros pecados.
And more than anything, from a spiritual perspective, it's a journey. It's their own journey with Jesus in the way of the cross. It takes on great significance. Every actor that I've heard talk about this just keeps saying it's such an honor. It's such an honor, and I think it shows that the power the crucifixion still has for us, and the way it still speaks to our lives. And I mean, of course, we're here right in the midst of the Paschal mystery, the central sort of tenet of our faith. That Jesus will indeed die for us, and I think people get that here and walking through that. So obviously, the significance is pretty grand for every Christian.
The crowd of spectators continues to grow as the procession makes its way down 18th Street. It's hard not to feel the suffering of Christ, his followers, and perhaps most of all, his mother.
I'm very honored. I was approached by Jesus, Isaac, and I accepted. I've always been a spectator every year, so it's great to be a part of it this year, and again, I'm very honored. It's a way for me to get closer to God and definitely be a part of my religion.
The reenactment of the Crucifixion takes place at Harrison Park, where very little is left to the imagination.
Perdónalos, porque no saben lo que hacen.
After Jesus dies, his body is taken down from the cross. The body of Jesus is then carried a few blocks to St. Adalbert Church. Catholic faithful fill the church as the body of Christ is carried to the front. In keeping with the stations, Jesus is laid in the tomb.
Here we are again at the foot of the cross. No matter where we find ourselves this year, we know that entering into the mystery of the cross, observing the various crosses that affect ourselves and others, our faith and our convictions are made strong. Our faith is strong because our convictions are stronger. The cross gives us courage and power to walk with those who are in dark places, but also to advocate on behalf of all of those who carry heavy burdens and crosses.
For those who walked in the steps of Jesus on this Good Friday, it was an emotional experience.
For the last 30-some years that I've been living here, it grows bigger and bigger. Reaction is the same. I mean, it's almost disbelief. You take things for granted, and you just, you know, I just don't know how to describe it, but it humbles you. At the end of the walk, it just, you're a different person.
For me, it was a little emotional too. I saw a lot of people, a good turnout. Emotional because we're walking with Jesus, and the suffering, it will not duplicate to what he really experienced, but what we are reenacting, and the faith that I have, the faith that the people has, we all walk with Jesus today.
Along with photographer Brian Brock, this is Jim Dish reporting from the Pilsen Via Crucis.
Many thanks to Jim and Brian from our radio and TV office, providing that up-close and personal look at the Pilsen Via Crucis.